So this is exactly what I've been kind of warning Xbox fans about for a long time. Not just Xbox fans, but this is the problem with the quote-unquote future and the way that people kind of just sit back and allow these things to happen, allow things to kind of come about in a way that, we have no real control or ownership of what we are buying, what we're spending our money for. And that's really unfortunate to me because, we come from such a time where, gamers, we bought our games and, we were able to play them, take them over a friend's house. We could rent games. We could do whatever we want. And now it's pretty clear that, these companies do not want us to own the games. They're starting to change the language. And then the worst part is you have people, like I see people in my comments like, oh, well, you don't own anything. It's clear, blah, blah, blah. It's like, that's never been clear. Like, they're changing the laws now to make it so they have to say that. But that's a new development, right? Like, I have digital games saved on my Xbox 360 and PS3 on different hard drives. Just pop them in. I got the games. They can't take that from me, right? But apparently what's going on right now is, thanks to Xbox, some games are disappearing from your library completely. So here's the warning for that. Like, wow. Can you believe that that's something that's actually happening on Xbox? So anyway, Xbox is removing games from users' libraries with a growing concern over digital ownership. This is very interesting, and I, of course, will link this in the description so you fine folks can check that out and let me know how you feel about it. And guess what? The couple of you guys that are in there that are PC guys are going to be like, we're good with Steam. It's like, that's all DRM. You don't own that either. So, yeah, it's funny. So over the past few days, the Xbox community has noticed a problem that is worrying many players as some purchased titles have actually completely disappeared from their libraries after their store listings were completely removed. These aren't simply discontinued games. In some cases, the product page has vanished entirely, preventing the console from recognizing its existence and blocking any download attempts. According to this, the behavior is not new and has been repeated for months, but the situation has escalated again after removal of several additional titles, which has reignited a debate about digital preservation and permanent access to purchased content. So again, I just want to kind of point out that a lot of us have hundreds, if not thousands of games in our digital libraries. True? Right? Like, I know not everybody has as many games as me. I've got like 1,500 installed. I own more than that, but not all of them are installed. But the thing is, I know that over the years, there's been just regular Xbox gamers, thanks to, a lot of the sales that come out and stuff like that. People have hundreds of games. How would you know if a handful, maybe 10, 15 games were kind of taken from your library? Would you know? Like, I certainly wouldn't know. You know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those things where I think it'd be easy to just kind of take that away from people, and then, people would just kind of be screwed. You would never even miss it, honestly, or know about it, and they get away with this is the problem. So, that's the thing. You got to kind of fight the future on that. I don't care who you are. You know what I mean? Like, it's funny to me because I love digital. I like digital content in terms of, it's easily accessible and it's quicker and things like that. But there's also like the physical aspect of it that is just so much more relevant to you actually spending money and having something tangible, right? So that's why I like physical media. It's like nobody's going to come in and take a Blu-ray or a DVD from your house, right? Whereas any of these streaming services can remove a movie or show at any particular point in time that they want. And same thing with these games. Apparently, these companies can just take away your games, and you're just kind of left for dead there, without any kind of game or anything. So yeah, like that's a real bad situation. And I knew it was kind of bad when Microsoft was taking away their movie and TV store, and we still have access to it now, but I can imagine that that's not going to always be the case. It's like same thing with, like, remember Groove Music? They had Groove Music. It's like I was paid up for that for like 3 years or something, and they just kind of took that away. You don't get to keep anything. It's like whatever you had is just no longer there. But anyway, according to recent conversations with those affected, the problem is usually related to changes in compliance standards or outdated data in the game's listing, although many players insist that it should not affect those who have already paid for it. So to be clear, like if I were, like, before the Xbox 360 store closed, I bought some games digitally and downloaded them, right? And so with the store being closed, I could still go into my previous purchase list and download them, but that was how it normally is. This is saying that people have bought these games and they aren't available to download anymore, which is a big issue. Players have identified at least 13 games that, as of now, can't be downloaded again despite being purchased, including Ononera Crimes, Polychromatic, Miles and Kilo, Kid Trip, Hamster on Rails, Marvel Puzzle Quest, Dark Rain, as well as some others. The latter actually prevents an even stranger case, as its online license has been revoked, even though it's a title without online features, forcing players to play it offline if it's installed. In light of the situation, the community is asking Xbox to take several urgent measures: keep store listings visible even if the game is no longer sold, restore downloads for affected titles, improve communications with users, and guarantee that any digital purchase will remain accessible indefinitely, regardless of internal changes or temporary removals. So they have all of the games listed here. And I, of course, will link this, like I said, in the description, and you guys can check that out. But, maybe you guys aren't even as outraged as I am about this stuff. But to me, it just really seems like it's a bad issue. Like, where is our games? Where are our games at? That's a big problem. And I think the sooner that Microsoft kind of handles this, or will they even answer this or talk about this? Probably not. So we'll have to see how that kind of works out, but it is a very interesting situation, to say the least. And again, I think everybody's going to have sort of a different take on this, an idea. At the time when more and more gamers are relying on digital formats, many consider it essential that Xbox offer a clear response and a permanent solution that protects users' trust and reinforce the preservation of the catalog. Now, here's the other thing, right? You have to wonder about what Microsoft thinks of and uses the words preservation when it comes to video games, because they very curiously use that word with that arcade service that's on the Xbox platform that is stream only. They're like, this is, we love preserving game titles, blah blah blah, and that's a stream only thing. And I know I've got a couple of people that chirp up in my comments about how great streaming is. Well, listen, like, if you want to celebrate paying money, hundreds and thousands over the years to never own anything and be kind of just at the beck and call of whatever a corporation tells you, then by all means do it. But people like me, I'm always going to be there trying to say, hey, you know what? I definitely want to own my products as much as possible. I want to be able to, this is why I buy a lot of physical discs as well. I want to be able to put my disc in, all that kind of stuff. I want to be able to, even my digital stuff, I want to be able to boot it up. If I paid for it, then I want to be able to boot it up and play it whenever I want, whether I'm connected to the internet or not. If I go over a friend's house, whatever the case may be, you should be able to do that. And so it's a real crime, in my opinion, that these things are happening, and people wonder why Microsoft is like the most untrusted company when it comes to gaming. It's not only just because they change direction every 6 months, it's because they do stuff like this. It's unscrupulous. It's really kind of a sad look on their part to do this to fans, to where you have to kind of look at it and go, okay, well, how can we better make fans trust what we have and kind of what's going on with things and things like that. Because the way that it sits right now, there's just nothing really that prevents them from just taking your entire library. And to further illustrate that point, on Xbox in particular, or PlayStation or whatever, your games are entirely linked to your personal account. So let's say you got banned for something. Let's say you go on Call of Duty and their AI thing or whatever says that you were cussing out somebody else, and Microsoft decides to ban you for that. You will lose access to 100% of your digital library, right? Like, there's nothing you can do about that. And like, that's a thing with like PlayStation as well, right? Like, you will lose access to your digital library if you get banned. So that's like the stuff that we're fighting against. And I know people go, oh, well, even if you get the disc or whatever, you don't have all the data on it. That's not entirely true. There's some that are like that. But out of total of this generation, I think it's 15 or 20 games like that. Out of all the games released on disc, only 15 or 20 didn't have the data. And the majority of those were Xbox made, right? Like, whether it be Bethesda or whatever. I know, like, the new Doom didn't have anything on the disc or whatever. I know Halo Infinite had zero data on the disc. It's basically a coaster. I think maybe Starfield was the same way. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, that's pretty ridiculous, the way that kind of comes about and the way that people just kind of accept it. Like, to me, it's like, imagine if this world just accepted everything that happened to it, man. There would be no world, right? And I'm not saying that this is like a huge issue in regards to like the entirety of the world, but it is like, affecting our ownership and the way we do things. So I think that we should maybe be able to kind of speak up and, want them to do better. So let me know what you guys think. Rack 'em up. Crab Gamer out.